Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. What do y'all need? What do you want me to start with?
Your name and who you're with.
Okay. My name is Brian McDaniel. I am speaking on behalf of the city of Sulphur as the PIO, BRIANMCDANIEL. So we'll just talk about the tornado that struck the city of Sulphur. Large portions of downtown were damaged, some residential areas. Right now we have a count of about 75 residential homes damaged. I don't know the exact number of businesses, but the entire business area downtown was dramatically affected by this tornado. We're going to talk just a little bit about volunteers. We've had a tremendous outpouring of support from the community and from areas all around. We are trying to coordinate any and all volunteers that want to come help. Right now we're kind of overrun, and it's wonderful to see this many people show up and support this community. But anybody that does want to volunteer, we're running them through Maury County Expo on the west edge of Sulphur. 3490 Highway 7, 3490 Highway 7, Sulphur, Oklahoma. As far as donations go, we have had an outpouring of support and love on that front as well. Currently, there are no needs that I'm aware of as far as donations. We want to, all those, if they do come in, are coming through the expo as well, but currently there are no needs that I'm aware of. Debris removal for the citizens, and this will affect the citizens, and your help in getting that information to the citizens will be greatly appreciated. If they do have debris, tree debris, home debris, we want it moved out by the road. Crews from ODOT and the city of Sulphur will be working on moving that debris off. So if we get it out near the road, separated into piles of vegetative debris and construction materials, we will get it moved out. It may not happen all in one day, but it will get moved out. Residents, business owners, anybody can report damages to disaster.ok.gov. disaster.ok.gov. So access, limited access right now for residents and volunteers. We have a process where we will bring people to the expo, get a pass, and move them through into the areas that are damaged. This is doing to protect the property of the business owners and the residents. These are people's homes, their businesses, their livelihoods, and we're doing that to try to protect their property. It's a process. I'm asking you to be patient with us as we move those volunteers and people that want to help into the area. I know some other talk about that. As far as the limited access, that will be today and tomorrow. We're going to reassess this evening and see at some point we need to stop that limited access. We want to make sure that it's safe. The areas are good for pretty much anybody to come in and help if they need. So I'm going to let some of the others brief on this. Brad, were you next? Okay.
Everyone, I am Brad Lancaster. That is BRADLANCASTER. I am Director of Maury County EMS. I'm also the Medical Branch Director for this event. So, as you all know, we had a very large F4 tornado come right down through the heart of our city. And there was more weather coming behind that, so rescue efforts were very challenging on that night. We were very fortunate to have a very, very good group of responders here. We're also very fortunate to have access to our Regional Emergency Medical Services System team. Maury County EMS is a founding member of that team. That team is deployed and sanctioned through Homeland Security to go out and handle large-scale events. We were very fortunate to have a large group of our medics that are on that team and our neighbors that could come help us part of that. In fact, it was a pretty surreal event for me to be deployed with my team in my area to work that event. But I was very grateful that they were here. Between that and our local departments, especially our fire services, they did an exceptional job. We were able to treat and manage in excess of 30 patients on the night of. That number is still growing because there's still injuries that are related to this event still ongoing. We had multiple transports out. There was a number of severely injured, and we were able to manage that night. It was very challenging, but we were able to manage that that event as efficiently as we could. We're going to have teams here for the ongoing future. In sometime this afternoon, Chickasaw Nation will be setting up an outline med unit out here to handle some minor injuries for people that are just needing simple treatments for things like you step on a nail, you get cut doing debris removal. We're going to have that forward out here on the side of the town that is next to the event, in hopes to keep from inundating our ERs with minor injuries. So we'll post more of that as that gets closer. So we're grateful that they're going to come help us with that. We ask that all residents be very careful, be very mindful when they're trying to clear their debris. There's going to be a lot of potential for injuries out there, especially as we start getting powers back to certain areas out there. So we're going to ask that you be very careful, and we're going to let somebody else talk to you about security issues going on. But we're grateful that all the volunteers have come here to help us. We're grateful that we have so many state, federal officials coming here to help us. Sulphur's going to need help going forward for a long time. Do we have any particular questions right now?
Can you give us an update on the number of people that were injured?
Right now, that number is going to be somewhere in excess of 30, pushing 40. Now, that's anything from majors to minor injuries. Any storm-related injury is going to be in that number, and that number is going to grow over the next however long. It will grow until we call an end to the event, when we get basically the infrastructure of the city back up to normal. Then that event will be called.
Can you estimate on how severe this number of severe injuries?
Most of them were minor. We did have a fair number of severe injuries that were managed and gotten out to higher level of care. We were very fortunate on that. We were very fortunate to only have the one fatality. If you look at what this tornado did, as large as it was in residential areas that it hit, I've worked a lot of tornadoes in a lot of places that weren't nearly as fortunate as we are with the number of injuries and fatalities. So praise God for that. That could have been much worse.
I was told at least one person was taken by helicopter to Oklahoma City, here in the downtown area. Is that true?
The night of, we transported many people into the hospital. There were some that went out in other places. I do believe that there were some critical patients that transported either by EMS or by air EMS out of the hospital.
When it comes to safety for infrastructure, some buildings are somewhat standing in downtown. Are you guys worried about other buildings collapsing? Or
Absolutely. I'll let Pete Haynes, our fire chief, talk to you about that. But absolutely, there's definitely dangerous down. That's why we're not letting people into those areas.
Is anyone still fighting for their life in the hospital right now?
Not that I'm aware of. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can. I'm Pete Haynes, P-E-T-E H-A-I-N-E-S. I'm the Incident Commander of the Unified Command System here. Yes, sir. You need me to repeat my name and stuff?
No, that's
okay. First of all, on behalf of the Unified Commands behind me, I want to express my condolences to the family of the one we lost. We lost a hometown girl on Saturday night, and that's devastating to the community and us as a family here. So first of all, we got on structural damage downtown. We do have some of that still blocked off. We still are anticipating some building collapses. So on Muskogee Street between 2nd and 3rd is still shut off, with the exception of rescuers and other emergency personnel. So, and that will be the main part downtown. We anticipate some more structural collapses there. We're confident on victims. We still have some day-to-day walking wounded that, like Brad said, that cut fingers and something dropped on their foot or something, and we'll have those. So we'll deal with those as we come. I'm confident on our search area. Saturday night, my crews did grid search the entire storm path area, and we're confident that we don't expect finding anybody else at this time. That's about all I have.
How challenging is it to work in an area like this? I mean, there was so much destruction. These are 100-year-old buildings that turned to rubble, but a lot of them are still barely standing.
Well, our entire downtown is devastated. It went into our business district, and it took our entire business district. So that's very devastating to us as a community, and to people that are hometown people. So that's a struggle even to our first responders that are from here having to work this area. But we've got a lot of work to do, and we appreciate you guys on, that come and even help warn the people with your news channels. Couldn't do it without you, so we appreciate you guys in an effort to help warn prior to this hitting our community.
You may not be able to share.
There's several people who live on the east side of town.
Yes, ma'am.
Who have been trying to navigate the roads to get back home, even though they were hit or they don't have power. They're just trying to get more stuff. What's the best way for them to get maybe to that side of town?
Well, at this point in time, we still have most of that blocked off. We're going to start releasing that a little bit to let those people get back into their houses and get the stuff they need to. That kind of has to be a control access for now, but we're working on that, and those people should be getting back to their areas pretty quick.
I know you may not be able to share a name yet, but you just alluded to the victim here. What should people remember about the person who died here in Sulphur?
Well, I just so happened to know her, went to school with her, and very, very big part of this community. She's just a blessing to everybody, and we're going to miss her. It's a devastating loss to Sulphur.
I don't know if this is a question for you or for just the general spokesperson for the city, but I spoke with a resident who said the neighborhood that was hit, not necessarily downtown, but the neighborhood where there are homes that are destroyed, was the, if you will, the underserved part of town, or the less, blank on the word, yeah, less fortunate, thank you, less fortunate part of the city. Is that a fair phrasing? I'm just, if you could speak to, it almost sounds like it's insult to injury for people who could afford for this to happen at least.
No, I wouldn't phrase it that way. That's a very, very nice part of our town. I consider our whole town, to be very nice. But that's a nice area. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, it's devastating, and we're here to help those people, and we're going to help them. It's a blessing that all these resources have come in to help, and we're going to get them taken care of one way or the other.
I have a question about the business district, because you guys are a big summer town. People come from everywhere to camp here,
Sure.
enjoy the water here. So do you guys think that you'll be able to make it for this next
Hey, let
summer?
me tell you something. We're strong, okay? We're strong, and we're going to get there. We'll bring this community back, I promise you. I know our friends in the Park Service, we will bring this community back, and we'll be better than ever, and we're a strong community. We got strong people helping us. Outpouring is fantastic, and we'll be back, I promise you.
How devastating is it, however, for that loss of economy, especially at that high school whenever you see visitors?
We'll be able to tell that later. I mean, obviously it's going to be devastating. It's going to be an impact to our community, but we'll be back. Okay, I'm going to let these other go.
My name is Jason Conyer. I am the Chief of Police here for Sulphur, JASONCONYER. I want to, before I say anything, I want to thank the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, as well as the Chickasaw Nation Light Horse Police. I called and they came, and they have helped me and the citizens of this town tremendously. I kind of want to reiterate what Mr. McDaniel said. Just be patient with us as far as the access that we're allowing into certain areas of the town. We're doing it for the safety of those that are wanting to get in, as well as the people that live there. Okay, so at times, there may be areas open that are open right now that somewhere during the day may be closed. We make that decision whenever we're met with it. Again, like I say, just please be patient whenever those times arise.
Big trucks around here trying to move around and get situated. Are y'all having to work with them to kind of?
We're working with the Highway Patrol and the Light Horse Police Department. We're doing our best to accommodate to them as much as we can. If there's certain areas that they're needing to get in, we try to get there and tell everybody if we have to disperse a group for a moment, then we're going to do that. So
I was told, I don't know if this is a question for you or OHP, but I was told the concern was looting, with all these storefronts ripped off. I was told a couple looters were caught last night.
There were. I do know of one incident. I don't believe it was a looter. It was in that area, but I don't believe it had anything to do as far as with looting. So, but again, we have efforts in place to try to keep that at a minimum. So my ask is, if there's a barricade up, try to don't go around it. It's there for a reason. So just again, be patient with us, and so we try to get through this.
One other thing I heard was that OHPs had a lot of people who are coming to just take a look. They don't live in this area. What do you say to them?
If you're not here to help, or if you don't live here, just respect the people that do live here and who are going through this, and just stay out of the area, if possible.
There's some low-lying areas that are still experiencing flooding. Now, you guys do have barricades over those areas.
Right.
But has that been a problem of people trying to go into flooded zones?
There were a few calls the first night after the initial storms passed. Some cars stranded and this and that. The areas that are usually our problem areas, we tried to address those and get those blocked off as soon as we could.
Speak to how crucial the alerts from the National Weather Service were throughout the day, or on Saturday. I understand that there were a record number of...
I have told numerous people that I feel like if we hadn't gotten the warning as quick as we did and got it out to the community as quick as we did, it could have been a lot more devastating than what it was. Yes. All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Shelby Humphrey, SHELBY, HUMPHREY, Oklahoma Highway Patrol, and I am the Troop Commander for Troop F. So these guys have covered just about everything, and they've covered it well. I would start by saying what I've observed from these people in this community is what Pete Haynes just said. They're strong. They will recover. It's very, very devastating, no doubt. I've worked in this area for 25 years. I've grown to somewhat love Sulphur and Murray County, and to see this, it is very devastating, but I have full confidence in this group, and they are on a mission to restore what they can when it comes to the properties. So now the Oklahoma Highway Patrol's involvement for right now is to support the city of Sulphur. So we are in fact working with Chief Conyers and the police department, as well as Light Horse Police. There's several other agencies I've seen here as well from other communities close. I'm not going to try to name them all because I'll forget some of them, but they're reaching out as well to support this community. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to provide support to Sulphur as long as they need it at whatever level they need it for. So we are in talks of what they've already mentioned about letting more people gain access, and we support their decision to do that. We're just going to help them, and when they're ready to do it, we'll adjust our plan. But for now, we just ask that people be patient as they come into these roadblocks, understand that these troopers and these law enforcement officers that are manning these roadblocks, that they've been given direction and they're going to follow that. But a process has been put in place to try to ease some of that. But people may have to be patient in how it goes, meaning they have to turn around, go somewhere they may have just came from to get what they need to be able to gain access to some of these areas. So outside of that, if y'all have questions for me, I'll answer them, but I think these guys have covered it well. Okay.
I'm Andy Freeman.
Step up just a little bit.
I'm Andy Freeman, ANDYFREEMAN. I'm the city manager. They've pretty much went over everything. First off, we just want to thank everybody for everything they've done. It's very humbling, the outpour. Our town's devastated, but we will rebuild this. our public works departments, they're out helping these people try to get back to their lives. We're going to work on the residential area and try to get them access to that. We're working with the business owners downtown to try to get them in there to get whatever they can out of it. We're still going to have to figure out the structural issue up there with all the buildings before we let anybody get into it. We just want to thank all the agencies that have been here to help us, all the people, all the donations. So,
Is your family okay? You're kind of choked up as you walked up. Are you okay?
I grew up here. It's close. So
Is it hard for you to see?
it is.
Why so?
Well, it's just our history, our soul. I mean, it's gone. But we are going to rebuild it. If we have to doze it all down, streets, curbs, sidewalks, we're going to rebuild it. Thank you.
Matt Trotter, American Red Cross, MATTTROTTER. Let me just start by saying how much respect we have for the organizations and agencies that all these guys represent, the hard work that they've done right here in their hometown to make sure that not only everybody who lives here is safe, but their families are safe and taken care of, and that organizations like ours can come in and offer the relief work that we do. At the Red Cross, our hearts go out to everybody who's been affected by severe weather recently. Nebraska, North Texas, here in Oklahoma, we're responding on a lot of fronts and doing the best that we can to make sure that people have the services and supplies they need to start recovering. We've got 2 shelters open right now, one here in Sulphur and one in Ardmore, and we encourage people to come visit us there if they have any needs at all. We're offering food, water, snacks. We're bringing in supplies. We're offering some reunification services here in Sulphur. So any needs that you might have, please come see us. The shelters are open 24/7. They will be open until they are no longer needed. So we like to see that everybody has somewhere to go and stay on a long-term basis before we shut down any shelters. With things opening up as they are, we're proud to say that we'll be able to begin delivering meals and supplies to impacted areas soon, hopefully as soon as today, but if not today, we'll definitely be out there tomorrow. Like everybody, this response is a process for us where we get on the ground immediately, open a shelter, start seeing what the long-term needs of people are, and then little by little, as we bring in more people and supplies, we're able to expand what we're able to do to help people recover and help this community recover. Do you have any questions?
Do you know how many families are staying here and then how many families are staying in Ardmore?
I don't know how many exactly. I think at our peak we had about 50 folks in the Sulphur shelter yesterday. I don't know if all of them stayed overnight. When I left the Ardmore shelter last night, we had 3 people there.
I know they were mentioning that there's been an overwhelming response of volunteers. Are you still in the need of volunteers, and what exactly are you looking for as far as that goes?
Yeah, we've gotten a great response from people as well looking to volunteer. We've had a lot of registered nurses who have offered their time to help people, and that's very valuable to us. Sometimes people in shelter have complex medical needs that our disaster workers aren't trained to help with, so having those nurses is great. If people do want to help by volunteering, the Red Cross is looking for people who can manage things in logistics, who can work in shelters, and who can help distribute supplies. You can go to redcross.org/volunteer and put in your zip code. We are expediting our background checks and offering essentially on-the-job training to help get people ready to serve in those roles. And one more thing I did want to add is that we know how devastating disasters can be, especially in this case where people have lost loved ones. And we want to acknowledge that people may be feeling a lot of stress right now. And if they need somebody to talk to, they should call or text the Disaster Distress Hotline. That number is 1-800-985-5990.
Let me add one more thing. Regarding what happened down south. We did have a fatality, weather-related fatality from I-35 down around Marietta on the night of this event. And it was a semi-truck that was blown off the interstate due to the tornado that crossed down there. And the driver of that semi is deceased. So we did have one additional fatality down there. It was a male subject, and that's all the information I have.
So does that make it 5 deaths then instead of 4?
So we would add that one. I don't know what all y'all are counting, but yes, that would be a weather relay, not from this particular. There were so many that night. I don't know that if it was the one that eventually moved up here, but it did. Yeah. So, but it would be a weather related. It was not a traffic fatality. It was due to the weather event, which was that tornado damage that you'll see down there on the western part of Marietta, out by I-35.
Is that separate from the Marietta area death that had already been reported?
Most likely that's it. If it's been reported,
There's a weather related.
yep, that would be it. That would be the only one I'm aware of down there. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
clarification.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
Are there any other questions or anything anybody had?
I don't know if anyone can answer this, but the post office was severely damaged. Has there been any discussions on
I did have some conversations with the postmaster here in Sulphur today. The Postal Service is still operating. They are delivering mail. If the damage is too severe to the home or to the mailbox, wherever they get their mail, that mail is being held at the Sulphur Post Office. So that has been addressed early on this morning. We've had a lot of support from FEMA, from our state and federal elected officials have come through. There'll be some more of the federal officials coming through later today. I don't know who all will be here, but there've been quite a few. So we've been getting good support from FEMA. We're working on the disaster declaration portion of it that will help the city rebuild. So when Andy talked about rebuilding the city, we will, and we will get some help.
Do you guys know about schools whatsoever? If that's going to reopen Sulphur schools tomorrow or coming days?
I haven't heard about the school system yet. To my knowledge, none of the schools were damaged, so the high school and the school complex was relatively close, but as long as they have power, I think they will. The school did have some damage on some of their buses that I talked to the superintendent about yesterday. So, thank y'all. Thank you for being here.